What you manifest in your mind, you can bring to reality.
Castaways, a show that's an ABC show. I watched it on Hulu. About 12 people stranded on a cluster of islands in Indonesia, all washed up and quote unquote washed up on different places. So they're not necessarily around anybody. They're not told necessarily if anybody has washed up near them. And then luggage, they're all allowed to take one piece of luggage. But then the luggage gets dispersed, kind of shuffled around, so you're not necessarily being washed up with your luggage. You're most likely getting somebody else's luggage. And one of the items in that luggage is a journal. So you're supposed to write about yourself in the journal so the person who finds your luggage can kind of get to know somebody that may be a castaway along with them. So it's kind of a survival show. I would put it somewhere in between, like the survival show I talked about called Alone, and then somewhere in between that and kind of Survivor. I mean, they don't play like the Survivor games, but as far as when they're not playing the games on Survivor and they're actually quote unquote surviving, it's very similar. Like they're kind of given some rations and there's some tools that are around and they're given like kind of rafts and some forms of shelter, so they don't really have to be survivalists at all, which most of them aren't. Most of them basically, I would destroy the show. I would destroy the show so bad. There's not much of a game element to it. It's the only way to get off the island is to either quit or wait for rescue. Right, and they don't know how long they have to wait. Is it a month? Is it 2 months? I don't know. So I was in, man. Once I started watching the show, I binged. I binged through all 12 episodes on Hulu, and it was fun. I don't know if there's going to be a second season. There's only one season, 10 episodes in the season, but super interesting. I mean, the way the show is produced, there's a lot of pre-production involved. They went and had camera crews kind of follow each individual that's going to be a castaway and kind of gets a lot of their backstory and shows a lot of who they are around their family. Seems like they were around them and their family for a while, and it really gives you their story, so you root for them. Also, the journals does a lot of that, but the way it's all kind of woven into each other, how they tell the story of these people as they're doing the thing, just so well done. Like it's like different than all the survival shows or game shows. Like most of them kind of just start when you see them, and if they talk about it, they don't really have as much in-depth production as this show does pre quote unquote surviving. So like the storytelling of this reality show is really well done. As far as telling the story of these individuals, but the show itself, like the survival aspect of it, is very like you just kind of have to tough it out, and if you have like even moderate fishing capabilities or understand coconuts, like there's enough resources there where it's not like Alone where they go into winter and they have to literally hunt, and like the survival in Alone, the History Channel show, is far more severe. But this one has less danger, but still more fun than something like Survivor, where Survivor ends up being just about politics and like strategy versus actually surviving. But the survival in Survivor seems to be a little bit more harsh. Like, I mean, people lost weight, but it was never like at no point was there any kind of worry or stress. Like the biggest kind of thing was infection. Like a couple people got one had to leave because they had an infection. They got cut by coral. And had to leave. So it's like, minor injuries or whatever that would take you out. And they don't show, like, the people just disappear. Like, they don't actually show that scene. So it kind of, they're really trying to portray the show in a way to make you feel like you're actually watching people survive. And it's interesting, so people can match up. You can survive on your own, and because you wash up with other people's stuff, you get to see them find out who these other people are without ever having to meet them. So they end up having this kind of mental vision of who these people are, and this excitement of maybe they run into them. But it also has people that are introverts and just want to be kind of enjoy being alone. Like there was an old lady in this one that lasted, maybe she won, I don't know, I'm not going to spoil it, but she's on her own for a lot of it. I mean, she finds somebody, and then that somebody had to go because she got sick, and she enjoyed being on her own, and she found a lot of peace in that, I think, up until she didn't. But that kind of, like, I enjoy my alone time. I would enjoy being alone. I don't know. Like, I guess it would depend on who I got matched up with. And then there were some, like, people that got not matched up, but they find each other. And it's like, it's weird because, like, you'll have bonds with people, and then it's an interesting study on humans and how different people kind of form relationships and deal with relationships, and like overall, it's basically communication is key for making any relationship work. Whether it's any kind of like survival, two humans needing to survive and help one another. But it's interesting. I enjoyed it, and I enjoyed some of the people in there, some of the characters. Some of the people that got cast away. It was fun. I mean, overall, the season ends in like. I mean, I don't know if I should say. Oh, spoilers! Go watch the show. But it ends with like three separate groups. So there's like a group of two dudes and a group of a guy and a chick, and then a dude going between the two. Like he went from one camp to the other to see who's over at this other beach and see if there's any resources. And then he goes back to the camp, which he was having drama with. So there's kind of a dynamic there as far as just avoiding drama and politics and all this kind of shit. But you get to see people grow. I don't know. Overall, I really enjoyed it. The end was a little lackluster because everybody kind of gets together and it's very kumbaya, and it seems very effortless once they all get together into a little group instead of trying to go at it alone, which is another kind of message of this show. It really hit on that theme throughout the show on different episodes, how people need people, and people are far more successful when in groups than individual for a lot of things, especially survival. So overall, as a whole package of a show, it's an interesting take on the survival type of show. I just wish it had more teeth. I wish there were more stakes involved, like not stakes as in cuts of meat, but like I didn't really feel like these people were really having that hard of a time surviving. I mean, they being exhausted and everything. I don't know. It just didn't feel as harsh as some other shows. And I don't know. Maybe that was just my bias coming off of watching a season of Alone, where that's if you watch Castaways and you felt a little bit like I needed a lot more from that. I want like a real gritty version of that. Go watch Alone. That's a great show too. But that's it for this episode of The Ray Taylor Show. New episodes come out every day. Subscribe on IGTV and everywhere else podcasts are found. Binge the full week over at patreon.com/Inspired Disorder. InspiredDisorder.com for all of my original artwork. Go buy some paintings now. At Ray Taylor for me on all social media. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Peace out!